And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband.
Again, total guess. They're going to parlay this into, well, she's been re-traumatized by the shooting, and that's the reason she's going to take a step back because the world has become too violent. That's my prediction. Let me know yours.
People have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband. They have continuously tried to assassinate the president, and anyone who stands in their way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist, and every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest.
Very quickly want to get in my predictions for the Erika addressing the world about the shooting.
We want the best for our country. They don't. This is why Charlie started Turning Point USA in the first place, so we could have civil discourse and debate and open dialogue, because when we stop talking to each other, bad things happen.
Back on air today, back from Rome. Can't wait to respond to everything.
In Romans chapter 12, verse 21, it says, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Example of how it's done. My husband did it best and left us the blueprint on how to have uncomfortable conversations with those who disagree. Buckle up, everybody. Here we go. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband.
Again, total guess. They're going to parlay this into, well, she's been re-traumatized by the shooting, and that's the reason she's going to take a step back because the world has become too violent. That's my prediction. Let me know yours.
People have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband. They have continuously tried to assassinate the president, and anyone who stands in their way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist, and every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest.
Very quickly want to get in my predictions for the Erika addressing the world about the shooting.
We want the best for our country. They don't. This is why Charlie started Turning Point USA in the first place, so we could have civil discourse and debate and open dialogue, because when we stop talking to each other, bad things happen.
Back on air today, back from Rome. Can't wait to respond to everything.
In Romans chapter 12, verse 21, it says, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Example of how it's done. My husband did it best and left us the blueprint on how to have uncomfortable conversations with those who disagree. Buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
All right, everybody, welcome in, welcome in. My name is Regina Connell with Wild and Wired Media. Today we are going to be watching Candace Owens. So Erika Kirk made some statements. Let me get on screen here. So Erika Kirk, hey everybody, good to see you. So Erika Kirk made her statements yesterday on the Charlie Kirk show. And of course, you know, there are all those out there. And I'm really surprised at Candace Owens for talking a shooting with the air quotes. So that really took me back. So today we are going to be watching her show a little bit to see what she's saying, why she went to Rome, all of that. So let's get started.
Every step, every move, we're breaking new sound. On Watchdog Wednesday, we're running this town. We're the ones who won't back down. Taking back the night and we're standing our ground. Every step, every move, we're breaking new sound. On Watchdog Wednesday, we're running this town. Every roadblock, every lie they feed.
All right, guys. So I backed it up. I did start a little bit late. I'm probably going to do this live stream and chop it up into a video. And then we're going to be looking at what Erika Kirk said yesterday. And I did put a little pre-intro mashup of stuff that I put together. So first, let's look at what Erika Kirk, I grabbed an 8-minute video off the X platform. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that and watch it from the beginning. It's about 8 minutes long. I think it's worth the watch. And then we're going to go over to Candace Owens's channel and watch her live stream and see what she's talking about. If you guys want to skip my commentary and all of that, run on over to Candace Owens on YouTube. Thank you for the like. You guys, if you want to leave a comment, I will definitely get it pinned. All right, let's get started. So first we're going to look at Erika Kirk and her statements, and then we'll get started.
It seems to me that nothing will ever be enough for the evil in this world. Our country has become unrecognizable. These people have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband. They have continuously tried to assassinate the president, And anyone who stands in their way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist, and every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest. We want the best for our country. They don't. This is why Charlie started Turning Point USA in the first place. He didn't trust the radicalized liberal teachers. And this past Saturday, it was a school teacher, of all people, a school teacher, that attempted to change our history for the worst with bullets. And everyone is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents Dinner. And it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me. And I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me?
Right.
So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me. She introduced herself, and she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss." To which I replied,
All right, guys, let me do a quick sound check here. Sorry, you can hear some reverb. I need to do I need to do a quick sound check to make sure. I just assumed that I do have sound on my end. So let's go.
"It is so nice to put a name to the face, especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself." And I said to her, "You know what's so interesting? This is my first time
Thank you, Kevin.
at the White House
Kevin
Correspondents
Jones,
Dinner.
thank you.
And I find it so fascinating, the dynamic that is going on right now, because everyone is all dressed up and you guys are co-mingling in and out of each other's cocktail parties. And so for one night, you are able to put aside all of your differences for the sake of freedom of speech. And then by Monday morning, things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between all of you.
I wanted to talk about what she's saying. Thank you, Kevin, for letting me know I'm good. That's the worst, is you got to stop. There's a little bit of a lag. So when she's talking about, all the journalists from all ends. So the first question I guess I would pose is, hey, Candace Owens, were you invited to the White House Correspondents Dinner? And if so, if not, why not? If so, oh, by the way, happy birthday, Candace Owens. So we're going to finish listening to Erika Kirk, what she says, and then we're going to go on over to the Candace Owens show. She's back on the scene. So you guys pose your questions in the comments. I have many questions myself. So let's continue on. Try not to interrupt her too much. Candace Owens, if y'all want to go watch her original channel, but I will probably be interrupting it a lot. So let's get going.
To which she replied, literally, she said, "I know. Isn't it special, right? Isn't tonight so special?"
Okay, I'm going to back this up a little bit because I did interrupt her in what she was saying. So she's basically saying that they all get together, everything's going to be all good at the dinner. And then Monday morning, it's going to be back to the regular bloodbath. And in response, this is what the journalist from the Daily Mail said to Erika Kirk. And this should tell us a lot right here. This should absolutely tell us a lot. So let's continue on.
"Things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between all of you." To which she replied, literally, she said, "I know. Isn't it special, right? Isn't tonight so special?" And
that's insanity. So with that said, I think that's a good place to drop Mrs. Kirk down, the Mrs. Erika Kirk, Mrs. Charlie Kirk. So let's go on over to Candace's show. We're going to start from the beginning and listen, because I think it's important to watch the whole of it. And I will say that, we are accused a lot of not watching her show. A lot of us, we do watch her show. I'm sure there's some out there that, they grab clips from here and there. And then I wanted us to be able to watch it so we could see the comments too. So without further ado, the show has already started. It's well into what she's saying. And then, like I said, we're going to be stopping it a lot. So I'll put in the comment section. You could just Google her name and she'll come up. So let's go.
All right, you guys.
All right,
Happy
you
birthday
guys.
to me. Happy birthday to me.
Wow. Happy birthday to me. Why isn't this coming out right? Huh, that's weird. Oh, because of the chat. I wonder if we're going to hide the chat. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to hide the chat for a little bit. All right, let's keep going. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, my lady. Hope you have a great one. Let's see how she celebrates her birthday.
I am back from Italy.
And what did I miss? Apparently a lot. Apparently a presidential award ceremony, whereupon which I was awarded Time's Most Vile Person of the Year. Really? Wow. Okay, Trump. To what do I owe the honor? More importantly, to whom? We will explore that.
So, what did you expect him to say, Candace Owens? What did you expect him to say with all the vile things that you've said about him in the past and referencing his sexual body parts? I think that's most egregious. So, let's listen to this married woman of
I
faith.
gotta say, what I enjoyed most, without question, was the absolute whiplash from Trump's Truth Social post about me, followed almost immediately by their administration crying about the left's rhetoric, right? Post shooting, if that's what we're calling it. I think it's more appropriately entitled an incident.
Stop it. Did you hear what she just said? I got my baby Moses stick today instead of my ruler. I might be using both today. So she just said incident, not even a shooting. She called it an incident. What? Well, let's keep going and see where her crazy mind. Look at the. I'm going to screenshot that too because I'm probably going to do a video on top of this. Sorry, my sound knocked out. There is a difference, right? This was a shooting. It wasn't an incident. What do you mean? Does somebody have to get? I mean, a Secret Service agent got shot. A Secret Service agent got shot. So let's listen to her babble on.
At the Correspondents Dinner, like Melania, I have always said I love her. I love you truly, Melania. But this tweet about the left's rhetoric pertaining to
So you love Melania. Do you believe for 1 second that Melania, do you think you can divide Melania and her husband, President Trump? Maybe you and George are easily divided, but it seems to me that Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk were not easily divided, and neither is President Trump and Flotus, the First Lady of the United States. She is not easily divided from her husband either. So why do you do this, Candace? You know, that's their marriage. Don't worry about their business. What, you think Melania is going to speak on your behalf the way you have atrociously attacked her husband? Then he brings you under his wing, brings you into his good graces, and this is how you respond. And then you claim that you're friends with Charlie Kirk. Stop this madness, sis. All right, let's keep going.
Jimmy Kimmel referring to him as hateful and violent, his rhetoric. No, nope. I got to stop you right there because this feels a little bit like people in glass houses. And speaking of which, Erika Kirk.
So hold on a second. She's getting ready to talk about Erika Kirk, but let's address what she's saying, people in glass houses. No, you are comparing apples and oranges, right? So him calling you vile, does that in any way equate to the egregious things that you say and the accusations that you levy? That is an opinion. He's allowed to think that someone is vile, and then he vocalizes that, and you consider it an attack. You have no idea what an attack is. Let's see what she says about Erika Kirk.
Came out today.
Yes,
and she was
did.
channeling Janet Jackson in Rhythm Nation. I was feeling it at first. I was like, we're about to get a routine, a dance routine. And we didn't get that. Instead, we got something horribly scripted. And of course, she lied in my name and on my birthday. Shame on you, Erika. Shame on you. Welcome back to Candace.
Okay, nobody lied. Nobody lied. You absolutely said that she should be drugged into a police station. Why would you say that? Maybe you're going to explain yourself. I'm not sure. I mean, you've repeatedly put up videos of mocking Erika Kirk, so I'm not understanding what you're saying, but we're going to listen to what you say because, like I said, when we comment on things, people will come into the comment section. And my whole thing, you guys, and I'll tell you right now, where can we find common ground? That's the only thing I'm ever looking for. So, hey, do we like this color? Yes, we like this color. Okay, let's move on. Do we like this type of food? Yes, we like this type of food. Let's move on. You know, how is it that we are falling out over people that we've never met before, right? And this lady here, why didn't you go to the White House Correspondents Dinner? Because I can guarantee you if the roles were reversed, you would be asking Erika Kirk why she left the country when there was and if you were there, it would have been a shooting. It wouldn't have been an incident. So I'm not sure. Let's let her continue babbling on.
Channel from scratch after being gloriously publicly fired and hanged for suggesting that genocide is always wrong. Despite all of that and taking this podcast #1 globally with a very small team, I just don't win anything. So you can imagine that when I found out.
Oh, did you hear that? Let's listen to her say that again. I really truly believe in the power of repetition.
And I don't get to win often because despite my, I think I got a lot of accomplishments out here. I'm podcasting independently. I had to rebuild my entire YouTube channel from scratch after being gloriously publicly
I agree with you, Tampa
fired
Bay,
and
Matt.
hanged for suggesting that genocide is always wrong. Despite all of that and taking this podcast #1 globally with a very small team, I just don't win anything. So you can imagine that when I found out that Donald Trump was publicly announcing me, naming me, Candace Owens, as Time's Person of the Year, there was this little glimmer of hope, right? I'm not going to lie. Here is what he sent out on Truth Social. He wrote, Candace Owens' stock, which was never very high, has fallen a long way. Her attack on the First Lady of France is despicable. I believe in this case, without verification, she is an extremely low IQ individual.
So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about her claims that the French First Lady is indeed a man. She also makes the same claims about Laura Loomer, right? Why even say stuff like that? Just talk about the topics at hand, right? Now, I don't really know that much about Laura Loomer, but I like what she came out with, and she did come out with receipts, which is something I have not seen from Candace. I see more confusion, right? So let's let her continue on defending herself. And did you love the way that she prefaced it with, I did this and I did that? You sound like Nebuchadnezzar. If you guys are familiar with the Bible, King Nebuchadnezzar, was thrown out in the wilderness for 7 years. And even after that, he didn't really learn his lesson because he could not give God the honor and glory of this, right? So, and I thought it was funny. I play around with the editing, so I threw in the video montage of, Erika or Candace Owens saying, "I'm back from Rome," and then Erika Kirk is like, "And in Romans," and she gives the verse, and I'm like, Laura Loomer is completely nuts. I don't know. I've seen some videos where she's done some nutty things, right? So, but what she's saying about Candace, we got to call truth where truth is. And I've not really seen anything that Candace has said in the last 7 months or even before that. And she lost me way back. I'll say it again. She lost me completely when she did the interview with the USS Liberty crew member. And then he talked about the donation that she made. Candace Owens, I want to know if you're still making that donation, because she said she'd take up side jobs to keep that donation going. So let's keep going.
Look at that photo. Ouch. Yikes. I'm not looking too hot, right?
Not at all.
And also, why? What was going on that day between me and Trump, or even in the previous week? Actually, to what do I owe this dishonor? And hasn't he already said this? Is he kind of repeating himself here?
What do you mean, Candace? You've been on a campaign saying that he's not worthy of the office. You should have never, you make it sound like you're the one that got him in office, but let's let her continue, crybaby.
He called me low IQ. He's already asserted that I was uglier than Brigitte, that actually between the two of us, it's not even close. It's
What? So what is your incessant need for your beauty to be more beautiful than other women? Who cares? It's personal. Oh wait, we've got some people. So Candace speaks truth. Sorry you feel that way. I gotta go. Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming through. Don't have time to waste on such a live podcast when Candace is alive right now. And that's what I tell everybody. Go watch her right now. She is live. You can back it up, whatever. So let's keep going.
Does he feel like his point was not delivered effectively the first 4 times that he made it? Yeah, this is actually the 4th tweet about me in the span of 2 weeks from the leader of the free world. What is going on? Before we get to who demanded that the tweet be sent, it wasn't
Thank
Trump.
you for
We should
saying that.
address
It's
the
hard to
points
watch.
that are made within it, because what actually was he trying to accomplish with it? What it actually was the administration trying to accomplish with that tweet? Okay. Well,
Well, maybe to distract you a little bit, because anytime anybody says anything about you, Candace Owens, you're going to talk about it. So I'd say you're playing right into his hands. I think it's funny.
first was a little bit of politicking, to be sure. By now, you are plenty aware that Washington, D.C. runs on blackmail and secrets, right? They send operators out to find your deepest, darkest, most humiliating secrets that you wouldn't want the public.
Okay, so now she's addressing Laura Loomer's post. So let's go look at Laura Loomer's post before she defends. Well, she's probably going to show it anyway. But Laura Loomer posted about George, right? If she's so transparent, why wouldn't she talk about that? She goes all in. She calls herself a journalist. No, she thinks she's dishing smoke when people are giving the smoke to her and she can't handle it. So, what do you mean people are going all in on your past? No, that's your credibility, right? So, George has become a United States citizen and he's already breaking the law. So, that does matter. It absolutely matters. And it's awfully funny how you were cozied up to Trump when you wanted to get George's citizenship.
Public to know. And once they discover these secrets, you're kind of presented with really just two options. One, fall into line, deliver the talking points. If you're in Congress, vote how we want you to vote. If you're in media, say what we want you to say. And we'll make sure the public never finds out. Or, here's your other option, don't stand against us and we will reveal all. We will make your lives miserable. That's how it works. That's how it works.
So my only question is, why do you care that they released that? Why, if you're not ashamed of it, why not talk about it yourself? You know, if George has a problem, maybe he could be helping some people. So no, this is not an attack on you. In fact, let me get a screenshot of this because when I make my video, I'm going to be using this. Let's look at this. Look at her. You know, what I hear from Erika Kirk, I mean, this is craziness. All right, let's let her continue on. So this is the personal mission. Like people don't, she is the one that is saying, I've got people living in Erika Kirk's building. You know, I've got people watching you everywhere. They are reporting back to me. Hey, Poison, thanks for pulling through, man. How's it going? She's got people reporting back to her. What is this? No, you're the stalker, Candace Owens. You are the stalker. Get my little mini Moses stick. I always forget about the camera. All right, let's keep going. So this is a personal attack to do whatever it is she thinks is being done to her.
Politics. And it's incredible to me what people will do, what shame they will put themselves through, and the statements they will make that we know are.
We could say the same about you, Candace Owens. You are shamelessly chasing after a man who is deceased that was not even your husband. That is sick in its own sense. And all these cronies that you've got behind you never knew who Charlie Kirk was. And I was gonna review his book. Let's see if I can get there. I was going to review his book. So Candace, look, stop in the name of God, girl. Why don't you read his book on your book club? You know, honor his memory. Quit thinking that you're solving some case that you never solved. I mean, you don't even know where to start. Oh my God, let's keep going.
Abundantly untrue, simply to avoid public embarrassment. And I guess in that regard, I got to give Trump a little credit here because the photo he shared of me, to be clear with you guys, it is real. It is not.
See, why are you embarrassed? You didn't have a problem. Oh, wait. Listen, my friend, Candace Owen is an imbecile. Find another person that makes more sense and put them on your YouTube display. So, yeah, thank you for the feedback. This is a combination of things. So, if you want to stick around, I would be grateful for it. If not, I understand. There's tons of other YouTubers out there talking about tons of other things. So, if you like a different angle, I highly recommend going to her YouTube channel, specifically her official one. So, thank you again for the feedback, MGM. Okay, let's keep going.
Not AI. People were suspicious. Is this a real photo? I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. And you can imagine that was at least refreshing. After 4 days of his top advisor, Laura Loomer, sharing AI photos, illusory stories about. So back in 2019, I shared that because I'm actually proud of that photo. And so I will briefly tell you the story as to how it came to be because I was not that well known in 2019. And so you may have missed it.
You hear that? She wasn't that well known. I wonder if Candace right now could go back in the past to younger Candace when younger Candace was trying to get out of her rental agreement that she could not fulfill, maybe because she couldn't afford it. So my question would be, you know, if you're not ashamed of it, you seem awfully embarrassed. You know, your body language is a little fidgety. You know, you're kind of this, that, and the other. Let me read this comment real quick. I like what you're doing, but she is stupid and doesn't make sense, makes a lot of money and doesn't care about anyone but herself, based her findings only on statistics. I agree with you. And it is important that people know the truth. So she is saying that this is true. She is admitting it herself. Thank you for at least finally telling the truth. There was no disputing this one. But the whole story, she won't tell you the whole story. The whole story is that she claims she had mold in her apartment. Now, my husband and I have had a situation where we were under a slumlord where there was actually mold, but we could not just stop paying our rent. We had to handle it the right way, and the right way is to go to court. And still, she was finally evicted out of the apartment and still never made good on her rent. So I don't know what that speaks to y'all. This is, just posing questions.
The story is from 2016, before I had any public profile whatsoever. I had moved into a brand new, newly built luxury apartment. And one night I received a knock on the door from the building maintenance.
So early in her career, Candace, how did you afford a brand new luxury apartment when you first started your career? So that makes the money trail her overspending, especially in nonprofit organizations. And I believe that's why, maybe she and Charlie fell out. I'm not sure. Let's see. I fought with my family about her for many years. There was something about her. She's been paid by who. She talks a lot of crap. She was a big supporter of the Obamas. You know what? And I agree with you. I was surprised because I came into this. I wasn't even on social media or anything like that. And I came in on the scene where I really liked what she was saying. She seemed like, but then when she started going all in on people in the way that there was never really any substance to what she was saying, her podcast would go on and on and on with no real ending. And I'm wondering what people are eating up here, truly. So, and I agree with you. We shouldn't be falling out with people because we disagree over someone. Let's just talk about what we can and what we know to be fact. Candace is more interested. Somebody said a long time ago in the comment section, I remember defending her. They called her stupid Candace. I was like, oh my gosh. I was clutching my pearls. Oh my gosh. Why would you? Can't you? But she is stupid. She is stupid. So let's keep going. Thanks for sticking around.
There was a system-wide.
I do want to thank you for sticking around and commenting a lot. Well said, no substance, only statistic. Thank you so much for commenting and stuff. That means a lot to me. All right, let's keep going.
HVAC leak, okay? They needed to then pull the carpet back in a spare bedroom, and it was completely soaked through in the closet. They ran a fan, and they advised us not to go in that room for a couple of days while the fan was running, okay? It must have been a few days later that I woke up and my eyes were completely red and they were.
Okay, so she took a picture of herself, but did she take a picture of all of that? Because when we went through the mold problem in the house that we were renting, I took pictures of everything. We had the mold test to prove it. So the first thing the rental company should have done was a mold test kit, which is very simple to do, is not very expensive to do. They can also send it off to a lab. So all we have is the picture of herself that she's embarrassed about, that Trump made fun of her when she does the same thing. So I'm not understanding why she's so upset about it. If you guys know, let me know.
Pussing and it was itchy, and I was like, that's weird. I don't know what this is about, thinking that it was separate. Within weeks, I then broke out, and that is what you are seeing, head to toe in eczema, something that I had previously never had. I'm talking giant patches of eczema all over my skin. My hair fell out in clumps, and this.
Oh my God, all over mold. Now, I will say we didn't have all that experience with mold. I don't know what kind of mold she's dealing with. Maybe we should ask, Mary Beth, my open source AI ChatGPT co-host, that if any of these symptoms can, we were sick for a little bit. It was uncomfortable, but this kind of damage, and it seems to me she didn't live there very long because she couldn't afford the rent.
Instantly recognized the picture of all of the symptoms and told me that there had to have been a toxic mold presence for which I needed to have the environment.
So somebody could tell by the pictures that you sent that there was a toxic mold problem. Did you hear what she just said? Oh my God, listen to this, guys. Just gonna.
I had 2 asthma attacks that landed me in the hospital, and I had no idea what was happening. I had no idea what was happening. Were it not for somebody that was in my life who instantly recognized the picture of all of the symptoms and told me that there had to have been a toxic mold presence for which I needed to have the environment tested immediately. And I genuinely think that that person could have potentially saved my life. I would have.
Now, you guys have seen the picture, right? The Time magazine picture of her. She just showed it to you. I don't have it on hand, or I pull it up real quick. I'll put it on the back end of editing when I edit this all out. But look, How does somebody tell from I mean, because look, there are HIV conditions out there now, elevated AIDS, HIV, stuff that's going around, symptoms where people have, bumps and stuff like that. She said it was and then her explanation of it causing yeast infections. We never got a yeast infection from the mold problem in our home.
Never figured out what was going on because everything seemed so separate and sporadic. And just so you know, Trump, I have way worse pictures.
Whoa, girls. So you said it was never truly figured out, but you tried to take these people to
There
court.
had to have been a toxic mold presence for which I needed to have the environment tested immediately. And I genuinely think that that person could have potentially saved my life. I would have never figured out what was going on because everything seemed so separate and sporadic. And just so you know, Trump, I have way worse pictures than the one that you
Girl, you know what I think? Maybe they knew you were going to be the #1 world podcaster, so they secretly poisoned your apartment building. Maybe that could have been it. Were there any bees around anywhere? Let's continue on.
shared. And it was beyond just physical symptoms, beyond itching, the hair falling out. Mentally, I was a completely changed person instantly. I was exhausted. I was sleeping up to 16 hours a day. The only way that I can describe it to you all is I just suddenly was not myself anymore. And it was as though my brain could not think or process thoughts.
Girl, so what's your excuse now? So let's talk about the sleep thing, right? So in Matthew 11:28, all ye who are heavy laden, burdened, my yoke is easy, come find rest with me. So Charlie Kirk talks about that, and he said that he needed like 10 to 12 hours of sleep a day. Sleep is very important. So, and remember, you guys, mold did all of this. And why won't you name the person that saved your life? Who was that person? Was his name Ryan? Was it a he or a she? Who was that person? Name the person. All right, let's keep going.
Everything that I had to do, even things that I didn't have to do, was overwhelming. It was a task. If somebody texted me, I would cry and I would become overwhelmed because I couldn't think of how to respond.
Y'all, please. Listen, I got to go back. We're going to listen to every symptom that this woman's had. I know I'm sorry to do this to you, but I've stopped her a lot. And I really want her to be able to consistently go through everything. So this is the victim mentality. How dare someone attack me when years ago, 10 years ago, I was afflicted with supposed mold, but I'm not sure that's what it was. Somebody saved your life and you won't even call them out by name and say, thank you for saving my life. Thank you for saving my life, random person. Oops. Okay.
And they were pussing and it was itchy. And I was like, that's weird. I don't know what this is about, thinking that it was separate. Within weeks, I then broke out, and that is what you were seeing, head to toe in eczema, something that I had previously never had. I'm talking giant patches of eczema all over my skin. My hair fell out in clumps, and this is now over a couple of months. And I kid you not, I even got athlete's foot, which is insane. I had 2 asthma attacks that landed me in the hospital, and I had no idea what was happening. I had no idea what was happening. Were it not for somebody that was in my life who instantly recognized the picture of all of the symptoms and told me that there had to have been a toxic mold presence for which I needed to have the environment tested immediately. And I genuinely think that that person could have potentially saved my life. I would have never figured out what was going on because everything seemed so separate and sporadic. And just so you know, Trump, I have way worse pictures than the one that you shared.
And she's not done listing the symptoms, you guys. She's not done. I'm having problems with this stupid layout. She's not done listing the symptoms. I mean, that was a lot to unpack. Bye. Thank you so much. She needs to debate Roland Martin. She needs to go and debate Roland Martin. I wish she would debate somebody for real, MGM. Bye. Thanks for watching, man. Thanks for sliding through. You guys, it means a lot when you guys come through and you not only watch, but you engage and comment. Let me get this stupid screen layout the way I need it. Let me do this. This might work. Ah. No, I didn't want to do it that way. I wonder if I can. Y'all, this is ticking me off. Here we go. Finally. Okay, sorry about that. All right, I'll try not to play with the screen layout too much. I'm terrible with it. So she went through a lot of symptoms, man. She had pus, she had sores, it affected her brain, her hair fell out in clumps. I mean, girl, how did you ever recover? And then she says they're not even sure. So did it just magically go away?
And it was beyond just physical symptoms, beyond itching, the hair falling out. Mentally, I was a completely changed person instantly. I was exhausted. I was sleeping up to 16 hours a day. The only way that I can describe it to you all is I just suddenly was not myself anymore. And it was as though my brain could not think or process thoughts. Everything that I had to do, even things that I didn't have to do, was overwhelming. It was a task.
So things that she had to do were overwhelming. Things that she didn't have to do were overwhelming. Well, she didn't have children at this time. Good gravy. Girl, you had a skin rash.
If somebody texted me, I would cry and I would become overwhelmed because I couldn't think of how to respond back. Like I was exhausted at the idea of having to answer somebody back in a text message. It just seemed like an impossible task. So it
Thank you
was
for the
sort
like.
of going in a couple of months. If I felt like, oh, my looks and my brains, everything is just gone, right?
Her looks and her
And I had
brains and
not
everything's gone. Let's see. Let's read this comment. I can't see it. Tell me you jealous of her intelligence and black beauty without telling me. Are you intimidated? Why would I be intimidated? And what does the color have to do with anything? Why you got to throw the color in there like that? You know, what, white people don't have beauty too? What's the blackness got to do with it? Can you please explain to me what the blackness has to do with it? You brought it up, not me. And then intimidated. Why would I be intimidated? And jealous. It seems to me that she's more jealous of Erika and she definitely wants to be the victim. So thank you for commenting. Thank you for feeding the algorithm. You are welcome to comment. You're welcome to come on anytime too. My name is Regina Connell. It's nice to meet you. Let me see if I can read it. I can't see it. Why is it doing that? It's Jarrell Barnes 6698. Is that a girl name or a boy name? All right, let's keep going.
realized up until that moment how much of my personal confidence was actually tied to my looks. Like, oh, my certain things have been easier for me.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you brought this comment up. So she just said, so much of what I thought of myself had to do with my looks. So now, Jarrell Barnes, 6698, you're actually confirming what she's saying. Tell me you jealous of her intelligence and black beauty without telling me, are you intimidated? And yelling too. So let's listen to what she's saying because she just said that that's how she was. She felt that. Let's see how she feels now.
For being, and Trump, you could free to dispute this, but generally good looking by most people's standards.
Why do you care if Trump thinks you're good looking or not? Why does that matter to you? The only thing that should matter to you about your looks is what your husband thinks. Why do you care what anybody else thinks about your looks? Is that what this is? Are you upset that Erika Kirk was in a beauty queen? I mean, you were in a rap video. What happened with that? Did it not work out? I don't understand. Let's listen to her say this again now. No, let's just keep going.
And I didn't appreciate that I tied that so much to who I was. I used to be able, truly, I would, at the time of my life, I would.
Okay, so she's going on and on about how she tied that so much to who she was, right? But then she challenges Trump by saying, you know, you can think Brigitte Macron is better looking than me, but let's take a poll and see. Why do you care, Candace Owens? Why do you care? You are a married woman. Grow up.
Oh, my certain things have been easier for me. For being, and Trump, you could free to dispute this, but generally good looking by most people's standards.
So things have been easier for her because she's, by general standards, most people good looking. So she's basically saying that your worth in life is attached to your looks, or that's how she felt at one point. And you are only confirming that statement, Jarrell Barnes 6698, by your comment. So that's my opinion on that. So I'm just going to leave it there because she is talking about her. She didn't throw in black though. She didn't say anything about black, but you were sure quick to. So she's trying to tell us this whole time that her worth is not attached to her looks, that she's finally learned that, yet she's still challenging Trump. You know, you can have your opinion and think that I'm not good looking, think that someone else is better looking than me. Why are you comparing yourself to other people? Why do you care if Trump does it? That's not strength. Let's keep going. I think I'm gonna screenshot that too.
And I didn't appreciate that I tied that so much to who I was. I used to be able, truly, I would, at the time of my life, I would just pop on a red lip. I was doing the Taylor Swift thing for a little bit and run out of the door without putting on any makeup. I'm going to show you pictures leading up to this HVAC leak. This is a picture of me, a few pictures of me in August.
Okay, so it's highly important that she established that she was beautiful at that time. What does it matter, Candace Owens? What? He threw a shot back at you and you can't handle it. You have to get validated somehow. And I wonder if these people in the picture, I wonder if they would be willing to come forward and make any statements.
August of 2016. There's another picture of me before this happened in August, another picture of me in August of
So she has to establish that she is beautiful. She needs people to tell her that she's beautiful.
2016, rocking the red lip, no makeup here, just like doing some hiking with my cousins. Another picture of me, I wasn't needing to wear makeup at all. And another picture of me just traveling, feeling
So is that why you wear makeup today? What is wrong with this woman?
confident in myself. And yeah, the picture that
I don't think that you're confident within yourself. Anyone who is confident within themselves doesn't go on and on and on and on and on. I mean, I've had people tell me I look like I'm 60. I'm like, okay, well, you'll be 60 one day too. I might be 60. You know, who cares? You know, why is it so egregious that we look the age that we're supposed to be? Why do we continuously want to look younger or better? What does it matter? And you are the one, you know, touting to people that those things shouldn't matter. So you spent the last 5 minutes defending your beauty.
Trump shared was taken just 3 months later. I was sick. I was very, very sick and immediately humbled. I did not want to see anyone. I'm not going to pretend that I was this profound.
Oh my God, she is going on and on. Okay, let's see if she switches gears ever. Damn.
I was living with my grandparents maybe in middle school. I hadn't made prayer a daily habit, but I did. And I illnesses and tell me how much this podcast.
Y'all, she's still talking about her skin affliction. When is she going to get to other stuff?
Helps them get through the day. People who are going through surgery, people who are green card process. So during the first almost 2 years of our engagement through to our marriage, we had one income in our household. I had no debts when I met him. I had $1 million. He can continue to do that in front of the world. I will over me. And
okay, so now she's going to talk about her finances and how well off she is. And remember, you guys that are donating to her security, those of you that are donating to everything, she's about to break down her finances.
My life, I chose to share that picture. That's why you have it. That's why you could have somebody put that on an AI.
This lady literally spent almost 15 minutes talking. I can't wait to see Cinema Shogun's breakdown of her show today.
Cover. I made a decision to share that with the public because it was the lowest moment of my life. And I do not want people digging through to find that and to
hold on. So you're upset that somebody shared a photo of you in the lowest moment of your life, but you think it's perfectly
try to embarrass me. I'm not embarrassed of it. I'm proud of who it made me into today. People get sick. Okay.
If you are so proud of it, why did you spend 15, 20 minutes of your show having to make your viewers listening to how sick you were, how you couldn't do stuff, even when you weren't doing stuff, it hurt to not do stuff? It's literally what she said.
In fact, there are people who email us daily about their chronic illnesses and tell me how much this podcast helps them get through the day. People who are going through surgery, people who are going through cancer, and similarly
so now she's the hero.
are wearing a bandana.
Boom. Okay.
I will say real power never has to name itself. I am MAGA. I built MAGA.
What do you mean real power never has to name itself? So let's go back to the beginning of your thing that I did this, I did that. So I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because
I do feel like to Trump, he's just repeatedly humiliating himself over and over again. And he can continue to do that in front of the world. I will say real power never has to name itself. I am MAGA. I built MAGA. I am loved 100% by the people. Just look at these polls. It's like, come on, old boy. Who are you fooling? You know, you weren't even
come on, Black Beauty. Weren't you the one touting that you brought people, got all these elections? What are you talking about? You do the same thing.
worth replying to until I could make time for it. You weren't even worth interrupting my holiday in Italy to address.
Her holiday in Italy.
Okay. Anya as using rich white men. What about Laura Trump? Does that only apply from Trump? In fact, that is what.
What
at
is she
least we
talking
could
about?
say-
Who said that you used? Oh, yeah, you do. Well, I mean, it's true.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. Not really worth unpacking. It's just too insane. I
she
do genuinely
can't.
believe that she
Look at her. She can't do it. She can't do it. She's so
is
uncomfortable.
on the brink of needing to be committed again. But the point in all of these lies, I met someone, who goes to the club in who's going to the club in high school with Laura Loomer? Either way, that is a type of blackmail in my view. That's a type of emotional blackmail. Okay. And that very real notion that our president, who it seems randomly attacks people on her behalf. So when you're wondering, why did he send out this crazy tweet about Tucker Carlson or Megyn Kelly? If you go onto Laura Loomer's feed, you will see that it's her focus of the week. It's whoever.
So let's talk about Candace Owens seems to think that no one has a mind of their own except for her, and especially men. So let's talk about Charlie Kirk and the things that she's said, purported, propagated, perpetuated. Basically that Charlie's life wasn't real, nothing around him was real, everybody faked him out, which basically tells me that she's saying that Charlie was weak. He couldn't make decisions for himself. And when she left Turning Point USA, and I firmly believe she was fired, and PragerU was gracious enough to take her on, and then she burned them. I mean, she has a history. We just have to look at it. We have to be, unbiased about it. And when you look at things, if things don't look good, I mean, it's the same thing that she's trying to say.
Laura Loomer happens to be attacking. That should be noted.
No one's attacking anyone. So first of all, let's white MAGA fighting against black MAGA. I don't know what that means. She has to say controversial things or she would lose relevance. She's already losing the relevance, actually. She's already losing it and she knows it.
Because there is no way in hell that Donald Trump, who has never, by the way, pushed send on his own tweets. That was the job initially of Dan Scavino during his first term.
Who cares, Candace?
And now it's been widely reported that on Truth Social, that's the job of Natalie Harp. That actually works.
Oh, here's her ads. She's got to get those. And I think there's a couple of them. Look at that. More ads. More. That was like 5 minutes of ads. Oh, Lord. So she defended her beauty for like 30 minutes. I can't wait to see Cinema Shogun's breakdown of this.
So in the UK, nappy is a pamper, a baby's pamper. So when they say like, I need a nappy, they're referring to a baby's pamper or diapers, as we say. But in America, for the UK people, a nappy is an expression that's used to describe like a.
Okay, hold on. She's talking about nappy head. I have one too. So Chispaloco 213, you do your on the here talking about her. What? Can you retype that? And then she's the best. I'm glad you like her. Why aren't you over there watching her channel instead of mine? All right, let's keep going. But thank you for watching.
Coarse hair. So she's just describing African hair. So when you call somebody nappy headed, you're calling them African headed, essentially. So it's not so offensive in the UK.
Stop making this a racist thing. Stop making this a nappy head doesn't belong to just black people. I know you think that everything belongs to, and then you say it's not about race. What are you talking about? And this woman is she's a walkie-oxy, big walkie-oxy.
Yeah, maybe it is. Nobody wants to be a diaper head, but that's the captured the audio of her saying this.
I just want to go find
Okay. So the clip was first shared.
So, Candace Owens, I will say it again. You weren't at that dinner. So, why are you talking about it? Have you talked to anybody who was at that dinner? And it seems to me that even on MS Now, they are saying anyone who said that this was fake, it's not fake. I mean, look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Look at that face. Why weren't you at the correspondents dinner, Candace? Because you weren't invited. You claim it's your birthday when she was speaking against Black people and helping push the racist movement. You people love her. You people. Who are you people? What are you talking about? Anyway, let's continue on.
Aired by Sarah Seidner. She is of CNN. She's
Sarah Seidner.
on the heels of the White House Correspondents Dinner. She tweeted that she would be addressing her latest traumatization, and she did that today. She said, "I will." She said, I need to spend time with my family." We should have pulled the tweet.
I'm being sure to pin your comments so that you look so foolish when she goes down, but thank you. I'm racist. Tell me how I'm racist. And what does that word even mean, right? So I thought Candace Owens told y'all that you shouldn't be leaning on racism, right? You should do it on your own merit. If that's all you got, you don't have much. Let's keep going.
She went literally in one sentence. She said, I after today's traumatizing shooting, I need to spend time with my family, and then I will be on the Charlie Kirk show on Wednesday. So I think she just needed 48 hours. And what we got today was objectively weird. It was weird for a couple of reasons. First is that it was 9 minutes, and then they
How am I showing hate? If you can clearly define how I'm showing hate, I would be happy to have that conversation with you. Crazy, you have all this religious stuff and you're showing hate. Always aware of potential photo op. You are jealous of Candace. Come on, you guys. You got to have better talking points than this. If all you can come up with is racism, jealousy, and intelligence level, it seems to me that y'all are the ones who can't carry on an intelligent conversation. So the first thing people should try to do in a debate is establish common ground, right? So it makes things easier, makes it easier to go in and stuff like that. So I'm going to show your comment. So, and you're seeing, you guys, from the Candites that, it's about beauty. It's about whether someone's jealous of someone and all of that. MAGA 100. All right, let's keep going. So she's made the show all about herself. And now she's trying to say that
just played Charlie Kirk clips for the remaining almost 2 hours. The second thing is that it was
so what?
Recorded, okay?
So what? So are your shows. Most of them are.
It was straight from the teleprompter, and it was very clearly not written by her.
Look, Candace reads from a teleprompter too. Anyone who is a content creator, mostly to keep the ship tight, to keep within your time parameters of your show, most people do have notes and they do have scripting. There's nothing wrong with that. Candace Owens, what are you talking about?
Kind of go the points that she delivered. And yes, there's been immediate backlash.
So she only wants to go over the points that were delivered and there's been no backlash. What are you talking about?
And yes, I am already being blamed for the immediate backlash because it's
no one's blaming you. We're saying that your rhetoric without proof, you're wanting to testify for Tyler Robbins. You have no bait. Your claims are baseless. And if this person brought up religion, let's talk about the religion, right? Let's talk about the religion aspect of it. So, if you want to ask me what my beliefs are and all of that, we can have that conversation, but you're not going to have it in 5 minutes in the comment section. But people like Candace Owens would like you to believe that that's how it's done, that you just conform to the Catholic faith, that you can't be a true believer or follower of the way. And if you guys don't know what that means, go hit your Bible up. I'm not going to give the answer for you. You should never let anyone read your Bible for you. And it seems to me, Candace is never giving scripture. She's never talking biblically, yet she wants to talk about the Catholic faith, and that's it. So let's keep going. Candace does need an exorcism. What do you mean? And wait, hold on. MAGA is garbage. Okay, thank you. She has proof that most women are too emotional to understand politics. Candace needs an exorcism, right? The Bible equals the originally really old fake news. I mean, that's what Candace wants you to believe. So believe that if you want to. Believe it if you want to. Your faith is none of my business. None of my business. And for Candace Owens to think that it is her personal mission in life to make sure, I don't know what she's teaching, but y'all go ahead and follow it if you want to. Let's keep going.
Always somebody else's fault when it comes to Erika Kirk, okay? So the first thing that's weird is
What are you talking about? You went on for 20 minutes of your show complaining that Trump went all in on you because of one post of a picture that was true of you. You are upset that Laura Loomer uncovered things about your past. That's the exact thing that you're doing with Erika Kirk. So where's the difference?
the reason that she gives for people asking that question, why did you go to the White House Correspondents Dinner? You literally just said you couldn't do your UGA commitment because
No, okay, look. There were threats from her security team that they would not share with you, Candace Owens. You believe what you want to believe and tout what you want to tout, right? You were jealous that you weren't at this dinner, but you don't have the courage to look Erika Kirk in the eye, whereas she does. She went to a dinner where she knew probably half the people in the room have accused her of stuff. She said as much. Why don't you just play her whole statement?
there were credible threats and you couldn't trust the Secret Service to absolve them. Then you did an event with Trump, which relied on
Humanize me, and I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why
does that make you so uncomfortable, Candace Owens? Why does that upset you so badly? That's how it's done. You're supposed to meet people face to face.
conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me? So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me. She introduced herself, and she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss." To which I replied, "It is so nice to put a name to the face, especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself." And I said to her, "You know what's so interesting? This is my first time at the White House Correspondents Dinner. And I find it so fascinating, the dynamic that is going on right now, because everyone is all dressed up and you guys are co-mingling in and out of each other's cocktail parties. And so for one night, you are able to put aside all of your differences for the sake of freedom of speech. And then by Monday morning, things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between all of you." To which she replied, literally, she said, "I know. Isn't it special, right? Isn't tonight so special?"
any buyers.
Yeah, totally. Why you weren't there, Candace? You weren't there, Candace
Any
Owens.
takers of that she went just for the social journalist because she's on that's why she went to just like, I don't like
Why else would she go, Candace Owens? Why else would she go? Why else would she go? At least she has the courage to face her accusers, whereas you don't. You accuse and then you run.
you journalists. She's going to call them out for their reactions to the shooting.
Reactions.
Okay, take a listen.
If you were in that room, you had no way of knowing what the status of the shooter was, how many there were, or honestly, really anything. It was just utter chaos. And so during an active shooting,
So why aren't the journalists, even the left-leaning ones? I know she wasn't invited. She wasn't invited. I'll pin your comment too. Somebody thinks Candace is telling the truth. Oh, bless your heart. So why is she upset about what Erika Kirk is saying? You know, that she wanted to face her accusers and talk about that. And I'll say it again, Candace Owens wasn't at the dinner, right? And I want to know why the really left-leaning ones, why aren't more people? Look at this look on her face. This woman, look at her. She's so jelly. She can't even stand herself. Oh. I think our producers need to talk to her about her facial expressions.
journalists are using their phones to find moments to capture for clips.
Yep.
They were so concerned about getting a video in a room with
Also, there was footage of journalists after that happened that they were pulling wine bottles off the table, making sure they grabbed those before they exited.
an active shooter that they could have accidentally and quite literally filmed themselves being shot. Many of those people have become so desensitized that fight or flight became secondary to the opportunity of putting themselves into the story, which ironically breaks the #1 rule of journalism.
Yep. And Piers Morgan told Candace Owens, "You're not a journalist." She can't stand it. She can't stand it.
Anybody in the chat want to tell her what's ironic about that statement?
No, nobody in the chat wants to what? But you know her chat is going off the chain. I probably can't play it back because her show's probably over by now. But
Anybody remember Terrell Farnsworth? And when we said that was weird, they said it wasn't weird. And now Erika is basically going, who would record themselves in an active shooting? This is Terrell Farnsworth, doesn't know how many shooters there are, doesn't know what's going on. Seconds. This is not even a minute after Charlie hits the ground and he's behind him and he recorded.
what are you talking about, Candace? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? She is talking about people putting themselves in harmful situations just to get content. That's what Erika Kirk is talking about. What you're talking about is apples and oranges. What are you talking about? No, they removed the SD card so people couldn't spread it around on the internet, but you're going to make sure that you do reenactment after reenactment. How is that honoring Charlie Kirk? Why aren't you reading his book in your book club?
Himself. Take a listen.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie.
Irony. That's all. I know. I'm going to
She sounds demonic. Irony, that's all. Irony.
get crushed for that. How dare you remember? I go kind of spending a lot of time on this case, and it's part of the bizarre reactions that the public doesn't feel
Girl, why you even call it a case? You have spent time on nothing but your own image.
good about. So Erika Kirk is going to underscore that as well. Take a listen.
If you can just pause and just take a minute and ask yourself, how would you feel if even just one person made cruel jokes about the attempted murder of your loved one?
Right.
That is what Jimmy Kimmel did to the First Lady.
So now Candace is going to find a way to now remember at the beginning, Candace went on and on and on. And how dare Trump make fun of my disease? How dare Trump make fun of my weak moment, my illness, right? And so all Erika Kirk is saying, why would you make a vile joke and say that she looks like a glowing widow? And now Candace Owens is going to try to defend that, I'm sure, after she just cried for 20 minutes about how she was attacked by Trump because he said that somebody else was better looking than her. Who cares?
Said that she had the glow.
And you don't see Erika Kirk comparing herself to other women like Candace Owens.
Of an expected widow.
He did.
The glow of an expected
Just,
widow.
like, so
It's
disingenuous.
48 hours.
Wow, why is she laughing? What is wrong with this woman? Look at this. Look at
Is
this.
going to underscore that. So
It's
disingenuous.
48 hours before that nightmare almost became a reality.
How is she so disingenuous? What the hell are you talking about, Candace?
It was a joke. I can't do the Hillary Clinton campaign. I can't.
So what Trump said about you was a joke. What Trump said about you was a joke. Why is it different when Trump says it, but when Jimmy Kimmel says something? What are you talking about? The hypocrisy is undeniable here.
Can't do it. I can't do. That's how it felt. Trump would make a joke about something and then they'd all get out and pretend it was super serious. And it's ironic because like Jimmy Kimmel was a part of that syndicate of people that did.
What is she talking about? So I can't even listen to this, y'all. I don't even know that I'm going to be able to go on because she's sitting here crybabying about a tweet or a truth social post that Trump made about her and her physical appearance. That's all you have to see it as. That's all we can see it as. So let's take, apples, oranges, oranges. So now she's saying that what Jimmy Kimmel said was okay and it was just a joke. So why are you upset when Trump, he's not allowed to have an opinion and a different opinion that another woman can be better looking than you? Are you the most beautiful woman in the world? Is that what you're trying to say, Candace? What are you trying to say? And early on in the video, she said that Thankfully, she was, by the general consensus, a good looking woman, which is what helped her get to where she was. She was in a luxury apartment that, she couldn't afford. So let's keep going. So I don't
this,
understand.
and I said no, and I couldn't stand Jimmy Kimmel, and I still really don't like Jimmy Kimmel. But before we even get to that, the response has just been brutal. Okay, everyone is calling her out. They're saying that the look is wrong. People are making fun of saying that she looks like she
Who is everyone?
came dressed
No, you started this.
up as the assassin that was walking up the stairs. Of course, they instantly then started realizing that they needed to defend it, and of course, they came out with two different excuses. Okay. Blake Neff came out and said, well, Candace didn't say it, but she implied it. She implied it in the episode
You said it.
where I said that the police should drag Erika in for questioning, that Charlie would have already been dragged. He probably would have been arrested until further notice and asked questions if we had found this many holes in his.
So you're basically saying she should be drugged in for questioning for the murder of her husband. How is that any different? What are you talking about? How can you spin this to where you did not accuse her of murder? But damn, Candace is going to try. Let's see how well she does.
Story. Like, of course, they should have her phone. They should be asking her questions about various lies, because that's just how it works. So that was Blake Neff's excuse. Now, Andrew Colvet's excuse is even more bizarre. Andrew Colvet is going to present an out-of-context text message, which looks like it got passed around at Turning Point USA.
Okay, I don't want to watch this portion of it because I have no idea what she's talking about. And I know she's only going to show clips and shit. So let's see what else she's
with
saying.
Nick Fuentes and David Axelrod and Aubrey Leitch of Turning Point USA to have an everyone is that I went to Rome with my husband and my children, who I am not living separately from. Thank you very much.
Why does she have to do it like that? I went to Rome with my husband and my children, who I'm not living separately from.
My husband, who I love dearly.
My husband,
no,
who
this
I
was
love
not an abrupt
dearly.
trip, but a completely planned, as it is.
So if it was completely planned, you usually let your viewers know. Why didn't you let your viewers know? Huh? Is it because you're afraid your life is in danger?
When you have children, you don't just pick up and flee a country.
Okay, so when you have children, you don't just pick up and flee a country. So why didn't you let your viewers know? That's the only question.
But it was a planned trip to Rome, which I actually sort of announced back in March at the Catholics for Catholics.
How much does that even mean? I kind of sort of announced. You also announced that you were going to have an interview with Joe Kent. What happened with that?
Event when I said this. To be a Catholic is to suffer. Our reward is not here. And I can't tell you how encouraged it is with all of the fighting that happens.
This is so funny how she has to watch herself over. I bet she sits at home and she watches herself relentlessly. I bet nobody in the house is allowed to watch anything but Candace Owens. What do you bet? So we're not gonna watch her watch herself. That's kind of weird. Oh my God, look at this woman. She is oh Lord.
I had no response to Trump because I told my priest I would chill. And
oh, stop it.
And he was there when that happened. It's true. And I feel even more prepared in many ways for the fights to come. And yeah, I guess just everyone, every single person, even you guys who are not Christian yet, or I know that many of you guys have at least been putting your thoughts toward me and hoping for me and my family and praying for our safety day in, day out. We're not the ones that complain every day and tell you about the
So that we're not the ones that complain every day, yet she spent literally her whole, almost every hour playing the victim, at least 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. I'll have to look at the timestamps, but at least 15, 20 minutes of going all in on why would Trump make a, let me show you the pictures of what I really looked like before that happened. I want to show you what the devastation was. And this person that I cannot name saved my life. I still want to know who the unnamed person is that saved her life.
threats that we endure, and
Blah, blah, blah.
795-1210, or visit my book. So if you want to join the book club, now is a great time to do that.
So why don't you read Charlie Kirk's books?
Head to the website, join the book club. surgery. Thank you for your transparency. Yes, it is. What's weird is that, like, I'm sure there's always like trace amounts of mold. Like, I've lived in older houses and it never
Oh my God. She's going to go on and on about the mold. You guys, I can't take anymore. I got to go. I got to go. The family's going to be home soon. You guys, I'm going to chop this up and make a video. Everybody that came through, thank you for coming through. Even those of you that think that I'm stupid, that I'm jealous, that I'm intimidated, I thank you for commenting. You guys, thank you for watching. And we will catch you on the flip flop. My name is Regina Connell with Wild and Wired Media. You guys, I hope you somewhat enjoyed today, and we'll catch you on the flip flop, you guys. I have kind of taken a little breather from my channel a little bit, trying to figure out some direction. I didn't want to make my channel about Candace Owens, but I did, you know, more than anything, I wanted to lift up Erika Kirk and what she's saying. And thank you so much, Wayne, for coming through. You have a good rest of your night too, you guys. We will see you on the flip flop, and I will have more content out. I'm going to try to get at least one video, a couple videos a week out. And thanks for watching, you guys. Until next time, we'll see you on the flip flop. My name is, once again, Regina Connell with Wild and Wired Media, LLC.